Madam President, my question is for the Minister representing the Prime Minister, Minister Wong. Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, recently told this Parliament they have over 130 employees in Australia. Their business here is, in their own words, a reseller of advertising services. But none of these employees seem to work on safety for Australian users. Apparently Meta thinks it's okay to globally outsource all that to Singapore and beyond, and we don't have laws telling them otherwise. Why is the Albanese government going to spend millions of taxpayers' money on trying to keep under-16s off social media before it legislates mandatory protections on social media companies?
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Lambie, for the question. And I think this is a domain where government regulation and the right public policy settings do require consideration by this Parliament, by parliaments, by the community, as well as by the government. And what I would say to you is I don't think that the introduction of legislation imposing age limits to protect children is in place of or should be excluded by the points that you raise. We are obviously aware of Meta's decision to walk away from commercial deals in relation to the Meta decision and announcement that it will no longer pay Australian news organisations for news content. Obviously, we all want a healthy, sustainable and diverse news media in Australia. That is important for our democracy, and it does include working out how it is that we ensure that large digital platforms utilise reasonable news information, and that these are under fair and equitable arrangements with the creators of content. We have been very clear that we think that what Meta has done is a dereliction of its responsibilities to Australian users. The government, of course, has established the Joint Select Committee on Social Media and Australian Society. That is one of the reasons, this backdrop is one of the reasons for that decision. We do believe that Australians should continue to have access to public interest journalism, including on social media, and we hope that the work that the committee does, and I'm aware of your interest in this, Senator, that together we can work out what is the best way forward on this issue.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Lambie, first supplementary.
Thank you, Madam President. About 75% of unwanted minor contact to kids, also known as grooming, on Facebook's products comes from a feature called People You May Know. Last week, Facebook told the Parliament that this feature is deliberately left on for under-18s in Australia. Has the Prime Minister directly raised the issue with Meta on this?
Thank you, Senator Lambie. Minister Wong.
Well, Senator, I wasn't aware of that evidence until you just, from last week, until you just outlined it, and I think that is grotesque. And I think all Australians would agree that we would want our children protected in whatever, from all of the ways in which the online world can cause harm. And our regulatory system does require us as parliamentarians, as legislators, as members of executive government to do more. We know that the online world does present new and emerging risks. What I would say to you is we have quadrupled the e-safety base funding to bring it to $42.5 million each year, with funding ongoing and indexed in recognition of the range of risks that online users face. And we have brought forward the independent review of the Online Safety Act. But none of that detracts from the ethical obligations and the responsibilities that these platforms have.
Thank you,
that
Minister.
They are
the
not
time for answering has expired.
Australians.
Senator Lambie, second supplementary.
Thank you. More than 14 years ago, the Australian Law Reform Commission warned of the risks to young people on social media. Since then, Big Tech has successfully lobbied to lower default privacy settings for kids in Australia from 18 down to 16. Does the government now intend to correct that error of judgment?
Thank you, Senator Lambie. Minister Wong.
Thank you, President. Again, Senator Lambie, what I would say to you is whether it's through the work of the committee, the work of the independent review of the Online Safety Act, or the ongoing work of e-safety, these are matters which we do need to look at. We have a domain which has expanded more rapidly in terms of reach and usage and penetration into particular markets in our communities, well beyond the regulatory framework that was in place. I think governments are seeking to catch up, and I regret that. It is disappointing that we didn't see very much on this in the last 9 years prior to our election, but we are seized of this. We are very. We understand how important it is. It is a very difficult area, and governments around the world are grappling with it. And we welcome your and the crossbenchers' interest
Thank you, Minister. The
in
time
this
for
area.
answering has expired.